Welcome to the SBR NHL Double Play, your SBR NHL Play of the Day video for Friday, November 1st. Yes, it's a new month. It's November. It's hard to believe that. Time just keeps on going by at a rapid pace, a rapid rate, and we're ready to kick off the month with and hopefully an NHL two-pack of winners on this Friday card. I'm Ian Cameron, not joined by Adam Booth. He will be back on Tuesday with me on the video, but he's in the chat. So make sure you say hello to him if you're watching this video, and in the YouTube chat, make sure you say hi to Adam, and he's doing a great job with these play of the day recommendations. I mean, his record's been tremendous with these, so my colleague doing an absolutely phenomenal job right now with these plays of the day. We'll get our records up here in just a moment. Big Friday card to tackle here on the Friday slate. A bigger Friday card than normal because they only had 2 games yesterday, which is rare for a Thursday. I'm assuming the holiday or the Halloween had something to do with that. But definitely a situation where lots to choose from on this card today. Lots came to mind for me from a betting perspective. And I know for Adam, he's got a good team total for his play of the day. So I'll get to mine. Actually, let me post these right now. Get the banner ready to go here with the oh, wait a minute. That's an old one. Give me 1 second here. All right. There we go. Excellent. All right. Perfect. Okay. So here we go. All right. So let me start by letting you know what my play of the day is going to be. It is going to be, it's funny, Adam and I have the same game for our play of the day. I'm doing the Buffalo-Washington game, so is he, but we're on different plays. And we're actually supporting the same team in a way with our plays today on this card. We got the Buffalo Sabres taking on the Washington Capitals tonight. Very interesting matchup. We know how much of a great season the Buffalo Sabres have had so far this season. SBRodds.com, that's the place you should be every single day to make sure you get the best line and best price available with your plays. Has Washington right now minus 170 to minus 175 home favorites in this game. The total 6.5, shaded to the under, minus 115. Once in a while in the NHL, you're going to see a big underdog at a really good price that's actually a really good hockey team. And I think we have that here in this matchup with the Buffalo Sabres tonight as they take on the Washington Capitals. Obviously, Washington is not the easiest team to be betting against right now. You know, it's absolutely no cinch. It's no, foregone conclusion that, hey, Washington, bet against them. You're going to make money right now. You know, they've played great hockey. This Washington Capitals team. There's no question about that. They had a tremendous road trip that just completed the other night with a come-from-behind overtime win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I was very impressed to see that win from the Washington Capitals. Really weird spot that was against Toronto as well, because they had started out in Western Canada, through Edmonton, through Vancouver, through Calgary, and then they ended up having that comeback win against Vancouver, flew to the East Coast, finished off the road trip with that one game in Toronto. It was really weird scheduling. I've never seen something like that. Usually when you're in Western Canada and you're done playing in Western Canada, that's it. You're back home after that. But no, they had this one stop in Toronto. Now they're home tonight. It just gets the sense to me that after all that traveling, come from behind win against Toronto, you saw Alex Ovechkin with the tying goal and the game-winning goal. I mean, that guy always seems to play well in Toronto. He plays well in every Canadian city. I think he realizes that, hey, playing in a Canadian city is pretty cool, pretty wicked. It's always a great atmosphere. The crowd is always into it. He gets pumped up to play in Canadian cities. He had a tremendous road trip for this Washington Capitals team. I worry about this spot just a little for Washington. They have been amazing on the road. They've actually only been ordinary playing at home this season here in Washington. Capital One Arena, as it's now called. I was about to call it the Verizon Center. These arenas, they change their names all the time. But, they're coming back home off a long road trip. That's tricky to me. That's not a bet on spot to me for the Washington Capitals after a tremendous road trip, coming back home where they've played, pretty much 500 hockey this season. And so I'm a little bit concerned with what we're going to get here tonight from this Washington Capitals team. And then you top it off with some, some injuries that they're battling too, especially Evgeny Kuznetsov, who is not a sure thing to suit up tonight for this Capitals team. He's dealing with an upper body injury that forced him to leave that game against Toronto on Tuesday night. So he's questionable to play in this game for the Capitals. That would definitely be a big absence. You're talking about one of your top six forwards, one of the guys you count on offensively if you're the Washington Capitals. So I think it's a situation where Washington's in a little bit of a tricky spot. And again, without Kuznetsov, could be hurting a little bit more, a little bit shorthanded in terms of the lineup that Todd Reardon, the head coach, goes with tonight in this game. On the flip side, you've got the Buffalo Sabres who, look, they lost the other night in a shootout to Arizona 3-2. They've been tremendous. That was only their fourth loss of the season. And it's worth noting that they've bounced back with a win after every single loss this season. That's why this team's had the record they've had. They've been able to bounce back. They haven't lost 2 straight games yet this entire season. 3-0 straight, perfect 3-0 in games following their 3 previous losses this season. That's the spot they're in tonight. They're certainly the more rested team. They've been off since that Monday night game against Arizona, whereas you got Washington after the road trip through Chicago, through Calgary, through Edmonton, through Vancouver, and through Toronto, returning home. It's a little bit of a dubious spot here to me for the Washington Capitals. You look at the head-to-head series between these two teams, pretty close actually. The meeting in Washington between these two teams last year. I know Buffalo only went 1-2 head-to-head against Washington last year, but Washington's 4-3 win at home was a shootout win, barely won, and of course Buffalo won in Buffalo 5-2 against this Capitals team. But as I've said many times, I think we've talked about Buffalo on this double play video multiple times. We've talked about how this team has a lot more depth offensively than they've had in the past. I think all of their blue liners are a year more experienced and are playing a year better because of it, and are playing better because now they've been in the league a little bit longer. When you're talking about Jake McCabe and Rasmus Ristolainen, Rasmus Dahlin, of course, in his second year after the first round pick, had his rookie year last year. They bring in, as I mentioned, Colin Miller, who's a great addition from the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Golden Knights defensively miss Colin Miller a little bit. He was always a steady, strong defenseman in his own zone. Also could rush the puck up the ice, get the offense started, get the transition game going, chip in some points from the blue line. It's a guy they miss. And you see last night, Vegas can't hold a third-period lead, the 2-goal third-period lead against Montreal. They end up losing that game in overtime. You lose a guy like Colin Miller, a quality blue liner, and you don't adequately replace him. And I don't think the Golden Knights adequately replaced him. You're going to feel that, and certainly the Golden Knights have. But definitely Colin Miller, a guy that the Sabres are happy to have. And the goaltending from Buffalo has been more than good most of the season from Carter Hutton and from Linus Ullmark. They've been pretty good, especially Carter Hutton. Now, the Buffalo Sabres are playing back-to-back games. This is the front end of the back-to-back. They're playing the Islanders tomorrow night. I would expect Hutton to get this game. The Capitals are the better team, the stronger, tougher opponent. Usually you give your number one goalie the game against the better opponent. So I would expect to see Carter Hutton in net tonight. Bottom line is this Buffalo Sabres team to me is live tonight. I think it's a good spot for them off a loss, so you should get focus, you should get intensity from this Buffalo Sabres team. You've got Washington in a road-weary, jet-lagged return home off a ultra-successful road trip spot. That's not the kind of spot I'm ready to lay minus 190 with you in. A great price here. You can get as much now as plus 168 now with this Buffalo Sabres team coming off a loss. As I've mentioned, they've yet to lose 2 games in a row this season, and I think they have a good chance to keep that trend going tonight and avoid a second consecutive loss once again tonight. So for me, I'm going big dog tonight. We need a slump buster. I'm not going to go mundane. We've dropped a couple in a row personally with play of the day. I'm on 5-5, as you see now, plus 0.27 units on the season. We're going big tonight. Go big or go home, they say. I think this is a very live underdog at a great price. Give me the Buffalo Sabres tonight, plus 168 against the Washington Capitals. Again, you can find that price currently at Heritage Sports. Great price there with the Sabres to get the job done against the Washington Capitals, who I think finally stumble in a little bit of a tricky scheduling spot for them. And as you can see, Adam Booth, his play, he's done a great job, 8-2 plus 6.08 units so far with these play of the day video recommendations that we have every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, albeit Friday instead of Thursday this week. We'll get back to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday rotation next week. He's on Buffalo team total, over 2.5, minus 123. Washington's certainly been giving up goals. They've been scoring goals, which, by the way, is why Washington, and I have a personal bet on the over as well tonight in this Sabres-Capitals game, over 6.5, minus 105. I think you got to ride this Washington team over the total until further notice. They're 9-1 to the over. Their last 10 games, their power play can't be stopped. Their offense is clicking right now, albeit it will take a hit if Kuznetsov doesn't play tonight. But you got to look at Washington now as an over team. They're dead nuts over team. They're scoring goals. The power play's been good. And the defense has been shaky, and the goaltending as well. Braden Holtby's had some good starts. He's had some not so good starts. So it's been a little bit of a mixed bag for Washington in terms of the goaltending that they've gotten this season as well. So when you got a team that's been shaky defensively and lighting it up offensively, that's what leads to a 9-1 over streak. And that's the kind of streak the Capitals are on right now from a totals perspective. So I kind of like the over in this game as well, 6.5. But I'm going to go with Buffalo here, plus 168. I think this is as good a price and a spot on a big dog as I've seen in the first month of the season here. And we'll hopefully take advantage of that. So I'm on Buffalo, plus 168. Adam is on Buffalo team total, over 2.5, minus 123 in terms of our plays of the day for this Friday, November 1st card. Couple picks I'll throw out there because we got a couple extra minutes here with this video. Vancouver, I think is worth a look tonight. Again, these aren't the plays of the day. These are just my own opinions, bets I've made on the card. I think Vancouver's worth a look, minus 110 against Anaheim. You ride the hot team. Canucks are playing great hockey outside of a third period collapse against Washington where they blew the 5-1 lead and lost 6-5. Other than that, this team's played great. I think they're flat out better than Anaheim. I keep saying that. Anaheim got the better of me the other night against Winnipeg, but Winnipeg's got issues. I think it's going to be a much tougher or taller task for Anaheim tonight against this surging Vancouver team. So I like the Canucks there, minus 110 at even money. I think that's a bet worth making there as well. I was leaning Winnipeg against San Jose because San Jose at laying that price. There's no way I can lay that price with San Jose. They're not playing good hockey. They're returning home off a long road trip. I don't like that spot at all for San Jose, and they're not playing good as well right now. So, it's a situation where I can't lay that price with San Jose. The question is, do I want to back Winnipeg? They're shorthanded. Patrick Laine is not going to play. We saw the Jets not exactly play all that well defensively, oddly enough, without Laine the other night against Anaheim. So it's very, very tricky to back Winnipeg. It really is. They're banged up. They're injury riddled. But I was looking at it. I thought it was a great spot. Winnipeg off the loss to Anaheim. San Jose's just reeling right now. San Jose's never really done all that good in these first game back home at the Shark Tank spots after a long road trip. They've really had trouble in these situations. So I lean Winnipeg, but I don't think I'm going to get there. Really, Vancouver, I'm on that. And I'm on Buffalo in the over against Washington. I'm also looking at maybe the Flyers-Devils game to go over the total as well. New Jersey's not playing a lick of defense. They keep talking about it, and nothing ever changes. They're still struggling to keep the puck out of their own net. So that's another one I've got my eye on as well, Flyers and Devils over the total. But for our plays of the day, to recap before we wrap up this video, Buffalo plus 168 for me against Washington, and Adam liking Buffalo Sabres team total over 2.5, minus 123. That'll do it for our Friday edition of the SBR NHL Double Play, our NHL Play of the Day video. We will be back tomorrow, or I'll be back tomorrow, Saturday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, with our next edition of the SBR NHL Double Play. Enjoy your Friday night. Good luck with all of your wagers on the NHL ice, and we'll see you again.